All right. Hello, everyone. I am so delighted to welcome you to our show, Caring for Your Pet, where you can learn more on how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy. My name is Burns Galang or Burns Berry, your host for the show. And if you love or have cared for an animal or have spent time with them, well, this is the right place for you. Today, we're going to be talking about connecting and understanding our beloved furry companions in a much deeper level. Our guest today is Sue London. She is the TV host of Ask Sue London, the pet psychic. And as the name of her show says, she is the pet psychic. And not only that, she's also a Reiki master and an intuitive life coach. And guess what? Sue can also help you discover your pet's thoughts, their emotions, and the messages they're trying to share with you. So, isn't that cool? Well, I'd say it's pretty awesome. She can actually communicate with the pet's energy and spirit, both living and crossover, which is actually really very helpful for pet owners out there who need to find peace and closure and healing. So now I bring you Sue London. Hi, Sue.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I'm curious. Can you share with us your journey and how you became a pet psychic?
It started when I was born, I guess you could say. I have always had this ability, and I can remember as a small child, going to the animal shelters and feeling such sadness and crying as I'd walk by every, animal in a cage and feeling, their emotional and their physical pain. And I didn't understand what was going on. I just thought, well, everybody has this happen. And I can remember when I was three, I must have been about 6 years old, and I was determined to help every animal in the world. And so I thought I would have this fun fair in my backyard. So I went to all our neighbors and I collected all of their stuffed animals that they had extra of. And we had like a fishing pond in the backyard. And that was the start of me raising money for shelters and helping animals. And as I got older, my abilities of feeling them, hearing them, seeing them from the other side, just physically, emotionally, everything you could think that what's within an animal was happening to me. And as I got older, and I my first marriage, I went through abuse, and so I spent 5 years working on myself. And in that 5 years, I cleared so much baggage within me. My abilities got even stronger because it allowed the energy to flow through me more. And then, with over the years working on myself, clearing my stuff, as well as really refining my diet, getting rid of sugar and, the toxins, the preservatives, all that kind of stuff, just made me even stronger. So it's like every day I do something new, I value myself, exercise, whatever, and the abilities get stronger. So it is really a great gift, but to have, and I'm really honored to be able to do this. But on the other side, when I know a pet's getting ready to cross, and they want me to tell the owner, or, I can feel the owner's pain. And I've been with people, I've held the animals as they've crossed over, and it's been blessing, but I also feel tremendous sorrow from the owner. So, and in the middle of the night, pets love to come to me about 3 o'clock in the morning. And, my owner's going to contact you. Please work with them, make them work in your schedule, and some nights I don't get sleep. Some weeks I don't get sleep because this can go on, kind of thing. So it's anyone who's a psychic or a medium, they'll tell you, there's blessings and there's things that aren't the greatest, but the greatness outweighs the other.
Oh wow, that blows my mind. It's a fascinating and incredible story, but at the same time, it really goes to show that when you have a gift, you really have to know how to handle it well. So
Yeah. Yeah. And, I found that like in the beginning, like when I was having this happen, I would turn to people for help because I couldn't get them to understand that if I held a dog, I could get an earache. And I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was actually cracking up. And I'd go to my doctor, they say, oh, it's all in your head. But what was happening, I just simply have to be near an animal or think of an animal and I can feel their stuff. So I've really had to focus on really protecting my energy. And in these last few years, the energy has gotten so much stronger. So, I have to, once an hour be really protecting myself because it can come through, the phone, the internet, me outside walking by or looking at a neighbor across the street,
Wow, sounds
Yeah,
tough, especially when you're surrounded with people who don't understand.
exactly right. So yeah, we have a rule that there's no news on in our house. And we've canceled all our cable TV because a lot of TV doesn't, have great stuff. So, we'll watch the old Doris Day shows, movies, and the 50s and 60s stuff where there's not the violence and stuff like that. Because even me watching a movie, I can feel that too, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
so
All right.
but
So that's like being an empath in a very high level.
yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
You'll see, I've been holding Marley here and I'm giving him Reiki right now and he's falling asleep. So anyone watching can see this is what happens when you do Reiki on your pet.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm witnessing it firsthand. Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Marley. Oh, so cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to talk more about communicating with animals. How would you describe it, and how important is it to, especially to pet owners?
So for me doing it for them, you mean? Is
Yeah,
that what
for
you mean?
them.
So it's very rewarding for me because I'll have people come to me, and I had one lady come to me and say that, her pet, she thought it needed to be put down. And the vet had said that, the dog needed to be put down right away. And the dog had been throwing up. And she contacted me. She says, this dog isn't that old. He's only like 6 years old. And so I tuned into him, and he was telling me that he loved to eat the sticks on their walks. And so I said to her, he's telling me this. And she goes, oh, yeah, he's always eating sticks. I said, well, when he's throwing up, what is it he's throwing up? And she's the sticks. I said, well, why don't you change your walking route? Because then he can't be near those sticks. And then also, there was also some things that he was doing that he was mirroring her. And so I gave her some homework and said, do this yourself because, what you're doing, the pet is experiencing. So she did the changes and the pet never threw up again. And this is a dog that could have been put down without the right knowledge. So it was really incredible. I was so grateful that I could help that, that little dog, that young dog, right? So that's just one example. And I've had people come to me, oh my gosh, sharing that, their animal was very angry and they didn't know what to do for it. And they thought, well, they were just going to give it back to the shelter. And the dog just kept telling me he just wanted love. He just wanted love. And he'd been beaten by another owner. And he'd come into this home and the couple were fighting. And he was really angry because he thought that's not what he wanted for his life. He didn't like all the shouting because it kept reminding of his past life. So I worked with her. And so I kind of combine like the messages from the pets, and the homework I give is kind of like the coaching. So it's a kind of combination of the pet and me working together at giving the right homework to the owner, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does.
So I gave the owner homework, and we got to get rid of that anger, and because your pet's mirroring you, and the pet's doing great now. And she tells the dog that everything is good, and they're doing great. So it's a different dog. But if you don't know what you don't know, then so I'm just blessed that I can feel it. The dogs or the cats are telling me. Gosh, there was another story I was going to just tell you. It'll come to me. There's so many stories. Like we said earlier, we could talk for hours, right?
Yes. Wow, that's incredible. And who would have thought? I'm actually not one of the many who are really sensitive, and sometimes I really struggle on trying to figure out how they really feel and think because I'm really not very keen, and sometimes it's hard for me to tell if they're feeling something that's really maybe they're in pain or not. And there have been times that, well, I had struggles and I had trouble trying to know because when I had cats before who has been sick, but I never knew the early stages that they were. And I was blaming myself before because if only I knew, then I could have done something earlier on and prevented that sickness from manifesting at that stage already. And yeah, yeah, the pet owners who were with you that time that you were able to help is are also really blessed.
Well, and can I tell you another story?
Sure.
So I had a lady come to me, and what also happens for me is that I'll work with the pet and I'll channel their drawing, how they want their owner to remember them by. And so this one lady had come to me and she was so stressed because the vet had told her when the dog was 2 years old, the dog was full of cancer and had to be put down right away.
Okay.
So she was spending all her time so fearful about when is the dog going to die? How much more time do I have with the pet? And so we happened to be in the same mastermind group together. And she said, "Oh, can you help me? Like, I don't know when I'm going to lose my dog." And the dog kept telling me that, he is not going anywhere for a while. So what I did with her was I worked with her to release the fear
Mhm.
and get in the present moment and really enjoy the pet and all the time they had together. Like, focus on the small things. And do you know that that dog is doing fine now? He has his good moment, his good days and his bad days, but there's no need for him to be put down at all right now. And this is going now 2 years.
Oh wow.
So, right. But then on the other side too, a lot of times when our pets are sick, they don't want us to know. And let me give you an example.
Okay.
We had a dog, Molly. Molly was a Shih Tzu, and Molly, she was a dog that we got as kind of the replacement dog to Rocky. So you can read about Rocky on my website, on my blog. And anyway, but what happened when we got her, she brought 2 years more life into Rocky because it gave him a purpose, right? To raise this little puppy. So Molly comes in our life, and we're at a point where Rocky's going downhill. When a pet is getting ready to cross over, I hold the animal and I give it Reiki to help them have a peaceful crossing. And so Molly was there, and I turned to Molly after, Rocky had crossed over, and I said to her, "I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to go through that again." And I knew that she was full of cancer for a year. I knew it. I could feel it in my body. I knew exactly where the cancer was. She did not show any symptoms at all. And so what ended up happening, again, she listened to me and I said, "I don't want to be with you. I don't want to go through this again." Right. So she literally took it that she was going to choose someone else to be with her for her crossing. So
Mhm.
she chose my husband. She chose my husband, Ross, 10 minutes before I had to go on my live radio show. I was on, like, I used to have a show on AM radio out of Rhode Island, United States.
Mhm.
And it was on a live radio show. I could not show up. I was the host, right? And so Molly knew that I had to go on this show. So we called the vet. She went outside. She came in, and these bumps she had, they burst, and there was blood all over the place. And she was shaking. And I said to Ross, my husband, "I know that Molly's ready to cross. And, phone the vet and see where we're at. And, can we hold off for an hour?" And as soon as I said that, I kept hearing, "No, no, it has to happen now." So Ross took her to the vet, and the whole time I'm doing this interview, or like on my show, on my radio show, I'm feeling her not wanting to leave because I'm not with her. So my mind, my body, my soul is with this dog at the vet's office, and I'm trying to do this interview on the live radio show. And so about half, and so I messaged my producer and said, Molly's choosing you to help me through this process. He's like, oh my gosh, why did she do that? And
Oh,
so then halfway through the show, she came to me in the corner and in my office, and because we were doing it through Skype, and she said, Mommy, I'm with Rocky. I'm so happy and I'm healthy again and I'm whole and I love you very much.
oh,
And so I went on my show the week later and I said, this is what happened last week. This is, and I had so many people contact me after that. And they said, we had no idea, so, your animal was sick. If your animal was sick, just know that that animal didn't want you to be stressed. They wanted you to enjoy that time you had together, because so many people spend how much time do we have left? So your pet did not want you to know what was going on for that reason, just so you know.
wow, they're really that sensitive for us. That's how selfless they are. I guess
Yeah.
it's really in their nature.
It is. Yeah.
That's amazing, and there's so much to be grateful for our animals. And
Oh, absolutely. And what people don't understand is that the animals will choose who's with them when it's time for them to cross. Like my first dog, I wasn't there. I didn't even know, like I had my dog Spot. I got her when I was 2, and she was 19, and that I lost her in February, and she was supposed to walk down the aisle when I got married in the June, like 5 months later. And my mother was in a place that she didn't think it was right for children to learn, even though I was 21, that it was right to share, death and make me go through that. So she just took the dog and had the dog put down. And I never had a chance to say goodbye to her. And I want to say to every parent who watches this, include your children in the whole process, because they need to have that closure as well. And even like our grown children, like, they're attached to our dogs. And when we've lost our pets in the past, the night before, if we know that, they have to be put down, we'll call the kids and we'll say, it's time. And did you want to come and say goodbye? And often they will, or if they know they don't need to, kind of thing, they don't. But I've given them that option. So that's really important for parents to know that the kids want to be involved in this process. It's part of life, right?
yeah, it is. But for those people who are not that sensitive enough or want to learn more and how to connect with the pets, with their pets even
Right.
more, what advice can you give for them to be sensitive to what
Yeah.
they feel and what they think?
So the first thing, like what I would suggest is, if you really want to, get yourself in this place, you really want to, be focused in the present moment. And I really recommend that everybody do meditation, because meditation helps you to become present, right? It gets you grounded. Doing meditation, I do meditation every day. And even, like I'll get more coming to me even by doing that. You want to eat a clear diet, a healthy diet, clean diet. You want to watch your stress. You're literally wanting to clear out your baggage and that toxins and everything, just like I did, right? In that 5-year period. So when you do this, what you're doing, you're opening the channels within you to be able to get feelings, to get thoughts, this kind of thing. Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about at the end of the show is that I have a meditation that you can follow, and it can help you to connect with your pet. So, that you can play that and then follow along with that. I say to people that if you have a feeling and your pet comes to your mind, that is your pet communicating with you. And people don't think about that. Like they just think there's a lot more to this. So like right now, like Marley's here on my knee, and I can feel my right ear is sore. So I know, like, I ask myself, okay, is this my stuff or is this someone else's? And then I'll hear someone else. And then I right away get a vision in my mind. It's Marley. And what happens with Marley in Canada, we've had so much snow and we're even having a snowstorm again today. What happens is, I never heard of this before, but it's called snow mold, that it can cause ear infections. And because Marley has little floppy ears, when we have a lot of snow from the coldness and the dampness and that, he'll get an ear infection. So I'll just do Reiki on him, and that will help him to take it away. So, by feeling in your body, you might think, is this me? Or like, because I used to think, gosh, what's going on with me? I'm always sick. I'm always having pain and stuff like that. But what was happening, I wasn't protecting myself. And I would feel absolutely everything from everybody, animals, people, you know. So when you get in that present moment and you feel something in your body, ask, okay, whose is this? And if you see in your mind a person or an animal, a name, that connects with them. If you feel something in your body, ask, okay, so what is this? You might be sleeping. I have a lot of like my dogs on the other side come to me in the middle of the night and they'll show me what I have to do the next day. And sometimes, like, it'll wake me right up. And in fact, last night I was still awake at 3 a.m. Just because the animals were talking to me about what I had to say today. So I write my note, and then, I'll write down, I have paper beside the bed, and then I write it all down so I don't hold it in my head. And then the next day I come into my office and then I start doing the homework they give me. And it's just amazing when they tell me what to do processes, how it connects me to something else. Does
Oh,
that help you understand that?
yes, makes sense.
Okay.
And yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think our audience will also benefit from what you just shared. It's something that can really help them. And speaking of animals transitioning and or crossing the bridge, how do they really see and feel around that thought?
Okay, so let me give you an example. My personal story, I don't know if I've told you this, but I've actually died twice myself. Years ago, I had Crohn's disease. It is 100% gone. There's no sign of it in my body. But the last time that I crossed over was when my intestine burst. And what happened to me is what happens to animals. So I was laying in this hospital bed, and I'm going to like tell my story so you can kind of think of an animal having this happening too, right? So I was laying in the hospital bed and I started feeling lighter. Okay, so this is what happens with animals. They feel lighter. Okay. And so what happened, I could feel my soul coming out of my body. And I can remember looking down because when this happened to me, I was in a hospital bed and I was surrounded with a team of doctors and nurses all around my bed trying to revive me. So I'm out of my body. I'm above my body, and I'm looking down at all these doctors and nurses just panicking. And I didn't understand why. And my body was floating. I was getting lighter. I was feeling this drawness to go up. And as I was going up higher, I felt love. I felt joy. I felt peace, but nothing like I had ever felt in this life. The extent was just so incredibly loving and joyous and just peace and contentment. As much peace I have in my life, it's no comparison. So let me say that if you've got a loved one who's crossed over, just know they are in a wonderful place. So what happened to me was, as my body was going higher, I started going towards this light. And I often have a lot of pet owners tell me their animals are looking in a specific corner. So they're looking at that portal that has the white light, and their loved ones are coming through, and they're coming to greet them, to take them to the other side. So what happened to me was I went to the white light. I went through the tunnel and went to the white light. And when I was there, my grandfather, and who was, somebody who, if anyone could get through to me, it would be my Grandpa Buck. And so, God, my angels knew, send Grandpa Buck, he'll get through to her, right? And so Grandpa Buck was there, and so was Jesus. Jesus was at his side. And the two of them said to me, it was not my time to be there, that I had to come back because I had millions of pets and their owners. I had to help them cope, heal, and move forward. And I thought at the time, how could I do something to help people and pets? As much love as I had for pets, I thought, I love my dogs. Yeah, I love all animals, but I didn't get it. But they just kept telling me trust. So because my grandfather I was so connected with him that I trusted him, and I thought, okay, if he's telling me I need to go back, I'm not allowed to stay with him, I would come back. So when I came back, then that's when I came to, and I saw things in a different way. And I actually came back to learn that my husband, who was soon going to be becoming my ex, when I learned he had a girlfriend for 16 years of our marriage. So it was really like new beginnings for me all the way around. So it also gave me the chance to really go in and really look at what that experience did for me. So I'm telling you, that's my story because it's similar for animals. They will let us know when they're ready to cross. You just will know. And they'll give you a look, or you just know how they're acting different. When this little guy here, when the room is full of angels or pets on the other side or our loved ones, he'll start just looking around. Like right now, can you see Marley kind of looking in this corner?
Yes.
So he's looking right now at my grandpa. My Grandpa Buck is here. He's right here in front of us. And so Marley is looking at him. And so my grandpa's telling him, you be a good boy for mommy for the show. And so he's like watching him. So here's an example of, this dog is just staring at him, right? So, thank you, Marley. He's such a good example for us, right? So when a pet goes and stops breathing, I say, some will go to the white light, go and stay in heaven. I've had cats where they've showed me, images that they're in heaven and they're running in fields and they're chasing and swatting butterflies. Really, really cute. I've had other animals, and a lot of animals that connect with me are telling me that they're still with their owner, and they'll tell me to explain to their owner how they're trying to prove that they're there by doing these different signs and giving them messages. And then I'll explain what those messages are, or the signs of how they can, that the pet is there. So yeah, and I can tell you that, like, for Rocky's story of crossing over, what happened with him was that he was hanging on for me because he got me through so much. He got me through abuse. He got me through divorce. He got me through a near-death experience. My weight went down to just 80 pounds when I was pregnant with my second daughter. And so the doctor said, who's going to live, you or the baby? And I said, we both will, because this has happened for a reason. So instead of keeping that doctor and losing my baby, I fired the doctor and I got a new doctor. The new doctor was an animal lover, and he said, well, let's get your dog down here. Because at that point, I was in the hospital for 5 months, missing my dog. So when Rocky came down to the hospital, 2 days later, I went home after he worked his magic doing pet therapy. And I went home and delivered a beautiful baby. And that baby's turning 30 years old in March. So, so what happened, we got through quite a lot together. And then when it came time for him to go, I will tell you honestly, I did not want him to go. I did not want that to end. And it's just unfortunate that animals don't live as long as people. We all say that, all of us, real true animal lovers, right? We wish our pets could live longer than some people, right? And so what happened, Rocky was really hanging on for me. So I just heard I had to tell him how much I felt. So I was holding him in my arms. I was giving him Reiki. And all of a sudden I just said, Rocky, I really love you. I want to thank you for everything that you've done in my life. And I will, love you for eternity. and I gave him a kiss on on his head. And I did that, and I just held him. I looked at him. He took his last breath, and he didn't need to have the final needles from the vet that was standing right there. And the vet said, I've never seen anything like this. That, you know, that dog was hanging on until I gave him permission to cross over. And then he peacefully crossed over. And then I went through a process of really grieving him a lot. And, you know, I couldn't understand why I wasn't seeing or feeling him for a couple of weeks. And what had happened was I was so consumed with loss. And even though I do what I do and did what I did, we had quite a history. And this is going back 20 years now. And you know, I've really evolved in these 20 years. And so what happened, how Rocky came back to me, was that my Mr. Right, my husband I've been with for 20 years, he said to me that I have a Christmas gift for you, and that I need to give it to you the night before Christmas, so Christmas Eve. And it was the weirdest thing that happened, he said. So Christmas Eve, he gave me this gift, and I opened it, and it was a candle holder, and it was three angels holding hands. And I opened it, and right there in front of me appeared my Grandpa Buck, Rocky, and my guardian angel. And Rocky stood there, and he's like, finally, you see me. And, you know, I'm here with Grandpa Buck, and, you know, I'm not leaving you. And so, you know, tears were flooding over that, right? And then I had to, it was about 3 weeks later, I had to do a speaking event. And I was on stage with a few hundred people in the audience. And there was a couple seats in the front row that were empty. And I looked down, I was about, you know, maybe 5-10 minutes into the speech. And all of a sudden I see my grandpa waving at me, and Rocky's sitting on the chair beside him, wagging his tail. And I thought, oh my God, is this what my life is going to be now? I'm going to be seeing them on the other side, and I'm going to lose focus on that, you know? So, yeah.
God,
Welcome to my world.
oh my God, I'm mind blown. So incredible. Yeah, I was about to ask you about the signs that if pets really give you those signs, or that look, because I had an experience before with the very first cat that I ever took care of. But she was actually injured from the day I picked her up, and then she was yeah, when I took her to the vet, it was already late, because she was like maybe the vet was guessing she was hit, or she was injured when I got her, when she was a frisky little kitten. And then she had difficulty with urinating, and it got complicated when, yeah, she's months older. And then there was a time when I was just holding her. It was just really peaceful, and it was a peaceful afternoon. I was just by the garden holding her, and she just looked at me really straight. And then right at that moment, I felt something, it's strangely calm and peaceful. And I felt like at that moment, I was really focused on her, and like everything else is muted. I was just focused on her, and her gaze, that gaze was really something really different. But I didn't, at that moment, I didn't take it as something strange or different. I just looked at her back, and then I really felt so much appreciation. It was like she was telling me thank you for being with
Yes.
me. And she was
Yeah.
looking at me like that. And then those are right before her disease was, it got really complicated after that, but she was just there with me at that moment. Maybe that was a message, because I really didn't understand that time. All I knew was she was sending me or giving me a special message, and I just was with her.
Can I tell you? So what she was telling you, she really appreciated you saving her. She felt you saved her, and she really, really loved you. And she was telling you, I love you. I love you so much. And she was thanking you for giving her that love. And that was something that she was not used to. And she was telling you that I need to leave you soon. Mhm.
Yeah, that's actually what I felt. But yeah, I wasn't thinking that she was leaving, and I didn't want to think about it that time. But I just really took that appreciation and accepted it. And That was the very first cat that I have. I really, I'm not a cat lover at
Yeah.
first because yeah, I really saw there was something. I didn't like them when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
when I saw that kitten, she was in the street and she was meowing and calling me, and I just knew how to pick her up. And then yeah, that was the very first cat that I had, and then after that, I was transformed one cat after another, and now I'm taking care of seven.
Well, you know, it's funny. So my family, they have nicknamed me. They call me the dog stalker. This is what my family calls me. Now, I am not a dog stalker for anybody watching this, but what happens to me is when I see an animal, I just need to go up and pat it, or I need to go and do Reiki on it, or I need to go and help it in some way. Like I've had animals when we're walking, I needed to give it water. And I'd hear take a extra bottle of water on our walk. And I would find this dog that was dehydrated and the owner wasn't paying attention to it. And I'd give the dog water, right? And what happens, and this is, you know, you're saying about, you know, the animals are so smart. So what happens is when I'm working with a client, I'm working through Zoom, right? And because I've been doing Reiki or connecting with the pet at a higher level, the animal and I have this bond. And people will tell me that when their pet hears me on the computer or sees me, well, they don't really see me, it's more hearing me. They come over and they start wagging their tail, sniffing at the computer screen.
Oh,
So that and my daughter, we have grand dogs and we have grand cats. We you know, it's not unlike for one child's dog to have a litter of puppies and then the puppies be born. I'm doing Reiki on the puppies as they're coming out and giving them a new fresh start, right? And then another child will say, you know, can you look after our dog and all this, right? So they've nicknamed me the dog stalker, but you know, other people will call me like Dr. Doolittle because I attract the animals. But why am I telling you this is because animals are so smart and people don't give them the credit for how smart they really are. And like when you say, you know, you tapped into that and you were present, that's it, that's all it really takes is slow your mind down and be present. And it's amazing what people are missing with their pet that they don't know so
wow. Yeah, which brings me makes me think this question is for pet owners, and yeah, and what advice can you give about how to care for themselves for who experience the loss of a beloved animal?
so you're sorry, you're asking me how the pet owners should how
So
they should go forward after they've lost a pet.
yes,
Okay,
they
so
themselves.
the first thing I say is have a good cry. You need to get those tears out. Don't hold in your pain. You need to get it out. And I've had so many people say to me that they've lost a pet and they'll tell their neighbor and the neighbor will say, so what? But that neighbor is not a pet lover.
Mhm.
So you want to, you know, there's a lot of communities online, that animal communities you can connect with. You can, you know, just connect with the right people is what I'm saying, first of all, right?
Right.
And one of the things that I did, and I tell people to do this, and it's very healing, and you don't know what will come out of it. So with me, what happened when Rocky crossed over, I just, you know, the loss that people feel after you can't hold them anymore, that, you know, a lot of them, they're still with you, but you don't see them, or you just like, it's changed the connection, let's say, right? So what I say to people is, while it's still fresh on your mind, sit down and journal and write down everything that that pet did for you. Write down the feelings you felt, the little characteristics the animal had. Maybe you've got a lot of pictures, put it like a book together, and then you can, you know, look back at all of these memories together. What happened for me, by me just writing my feelings down, that turned out to be a story that became an article, that became published in 3 countries, that became a children's book series that you'll see on my website, Rocky's Journey. And then it's, still becoming more and more stuff as we talk, kind of thing. So you don't know what your pet has in store for you after they cross, because they're still going to be there helping you. So just kind of follow through what you hear. Like, we've had memorial gardens in our homes, at our homes, in our backyards. And we had a Rocky's garden, and there was a little fire hydrant in there. We planted a tree. And it was funny because our other dogs would never go and pee in that spot because they knew that was Rocky's area, right? So, you can do that. In my office, I have all the dogs who've crossed over. I've saved all their collars. And anytime I want to connect with them, I'll just kind of open the drawer and I'll just put my hand on the collars because I can feel the energy from them. But some people like to make like shadow boxes, like, ranging their collar or a little coat it wore, something like creating a memory box, let's call it, right? Whatever you need to do to memorize that pet. What I do, I have a lot of people that come to me and ask me to draw their portrait. And what happens when I'm drawing the portrait, the animal on the other side is telling me exactly how to draw them, how they want to be remembered. And I've had animals ask me to put like a butterfly in the picture or have them pose this way. And it's just incredible. And then they share a message to me to pass on to the owner so that the owner knows what's happening, who they're with, that kind of thing. So that's something, that I do for people as well.
Wonderful.
So, but yeah, and just know that pet came into your life for a reason. And when you sit in a quiet time, look at really all the things that pet taught you, because that pet came into your life for a reason. And once you look at that, you're just so much more grateful for that animal coming to you and the magic behind the whole layout of the whole bigger picture. Right?
I've been trying to hold back the tears because
Oh, I was gonna say, did you just have an aha moment?
yeah, every time, every question, every answer they give me, and yeah, that's really something. Something I guess paradoxical and synergistic about this thing, because while I'm doing these interviews and doing this for other pet owners as well, I also feel that I'm also being helped because yeah,
It's true. It really is. Yeah.
it does. And yeah, I really hope that our listeners, our viewers right now are really getting so much meaning from it. I do. And yeah, and this is a question for you about how do you feel when you get to help other people cope with pet loss and teach them how to communicate with dearly not so departed pets?
It energizes me so much. It my husband and I have this thing when I do a speaking event, live speaking event, we said from day one that if there's someone crying in the audience, that was the greatest gift I could get, because I know they had an aha moment and something that I said from my experience or my abilities to help somebody or to help a pet help their owner is just one of the greatest gifts anybody could ever give me. And I'm just so thankful to be sent back by my grandpa and Jesus to help all these millions of people and their pets. It's really a blessing. Like, you're making me start to cry now, how grateful I am about it.
Wow, I'm happy you're here, and I'm happy you're here with us, with our viewers too. And based from your experiences, how do you think can pet parents be the key to their pet's happiness?
So you've got to watch your emotions. A lot of people will come to me and say, my dog's really aggressive. Well, pets will mirror us. And so if you're angry, your pet will be angry. So you need to watch your emotions. If you are really lazy and you lay around, maybe you're depressed, your animal will absorb your emotions and your physical stuff. So if you see your pet laying around, go within and look at yourself before you call a vet and say my dog's laying around. Look at yourself, like, are you getting exercise? Because I say to everybody, get away from the TV, take your pet out in nature. Actually, I think the TV show that I just posted on YouTube last night, or I guess early morning, is about taking your pet out in nature. Because when you take your pet out in nature, both of you are getting exercise and both of you are detoxing and cleansing, because your pet absorbs all your stuff. So by you taking them out, that helps them to release your stuff from them. So, look at where you're at. And, it's a good, they're your teacher. So learn from them and pay attention. And I'm certainly here to help you to learn that, for those of you that don't know where to start,
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
that's certainly going to help a lot. And thank you for sharing. And do you have any final thoughts for our viewers, or is there anything else that you would like to leave our audience that you think is important?
So I guess I would just say that, our pets want a job. And a lot of people don't realize that, give your dogs a job, or your pets in general. Give them a job, because they want to be doing something as well. They want to please you. And I know for me, like right now, I've got one here on my knee. He's sound asleep now because I've given him the Reiki. I've got one on the other side, like laying on his dog bed. And I just simply have to say, work. It's work time. And like I said, today we're going to go on this interview that we need to be quiet, and we'll go for the W later, right? And so that's what your pets want you to do. So talk with them, tell them you love them. They want to know that they are loved. They want to know you appreciate them. And kiss your pet every day, and give them a hug, and share that love with them, because that's the most healing thing you can give them.
Yeah, it's really just being in the present moment with them, because they're masters of that. And
Oh yeah.
and seems to me that they really teach you to do the same.
Well, and it's interesting too. I will say to my boys, okay, so at 5 o'clock, I'll say like 1 o'clock, we stop for, like 20-minute like break for lunch. And then, but 3:30, 4 o'clock, we stop again, because that's when, my husband and I take the boys for a walk for an hour, and then I come back to work. And, right on the time, they will actually come over to me. And if I haven't been paying attention to the time, one of them will paw at my leg and tell me, okay, it's time for the break. Every day that I forget, they will do this for the W. I'm not saying that W word right now. But when I say we're going to do that, or if it's a break, so the animals are very, very smart, and people need to realize that.
They are, right? They know more than us, actually.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Yes, so much to learn from them. It's really so amazing, so much to be grateful for as well. And can you share with us the gifts that you can offer to our audience, and free offers, or anywhere they can find you?
Sure. So my website is asksuelondon.ca. And when you go to my website, on the homepage, you'll see where it says get free meditation. That is the meditation that you can put on, and it helps you to connect with your pet while you're sleeping. And so what I suggest is have paper and pen beside you. And as you play that, then, things will start to happen. It might take a few days for the animal to connect with you. You might have to be, in a different place, get more present in this, more relaxed. Or the animal may be shy and be just kind of thinking, oh, maybe I'll come now. Yeah, I feel good. I'll come tonight. So you have that is there for you as my free gift. And also, I made notes here so that I wouldn't forget. If anyone is interested in learning how to do healing on their pets, I am teaching a level 1 Reiki training class. And if you go to my website under level 1 pet Reiki, you can see that I have different dates for February and March. And dates should be in there now. I think the website guys put them in. So if you've done your Reiki, I teach this differently. So if you got your level 1 and in just regular people Reiki, I don't teach them level 2. You have to start with the level 1 because of how I'm teaching this. So you'll see all the details on the website. And so for anyone who wants to do their Reiki training with me, I'm giving you $50 off that training, and you just have to put the code HEALING. So that's HEALING in that apply code area and hit apply, and you'll get that. And then also, if anyone wants to book a one-on-one consultation, we do it over Zoom. And basically, you know, any challenges you're having here with your pet, or you just simply want a message, or you don't know if it's time, like, you know, is your pet ready to cross, that kind of thing. Anything at all that you want to know about your pet, if you put in the code READING, READING, on messages from your pet, the 1 hour session, then you'll get $50 off as well. So that website is asksuelondon.ca.
All right, and I'm also gonna put the links in our page and in our email. And
Perfect.
yeah, can't wait to get the complimentary meditation myself, and
Yeah.
the things that you've shared as well. And thank you so much, Sue, for your time and for this wonderful conversation and sharing with us your knowledge and your wisdom and your stories. And we all really can connect with our pets in a really special and a unique way. And after all, it's really just about the connection that brings meaning to our lives as pet parents. And,
Totally. Yeah, totally.
yes,
I really appreciated being here, and thank you for what you're doing. This is very special, you know, to help the pet owners take their caring and healing to a new level. So thanks for what you're doing.
my honor. And everyone, I hope this show has helped you as well to learn more about how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy. And I wish you so much love and so much happiness with your fur babies. And for now, yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and we'll see you around for updates and for future events. All right, bye bye.
Bye.